Tink, tink, tink. Imagine you're walking outside and something starts bouncing right off your umbrella. It sounds like tiny rocks, but it's freezing cold. These are pieces of sleet, tiny bouncy beads of ice that fall directly out of the sky. We call these little round pieces of ice pellets. They look almost like clear frozen beads. But how does a completely frozen bead of ice fall from a cloud? To understand that, we have to follow its journey from the clouds to the ground. We're going to use the sky sandwich to track exactly how the air changes as the ice falls. By looking at the specific layers of air above our heads, we can see exactly how these bouncy ice pellets form. This diagram shows us the atmosphere stacked into layers. A layer is just a band of air at a certain height, like different floors in a tall building. Up on the top floor, high in the clouds, the air is freezing cold. Because the temperature is so low, water up there forms into snowflakes and starts falling toward the ground. But as those snowflakes fall, they drop into the middle band of air. This air is actually warm, so the snowflakes melt entirely and turn into liquid raindrops. This warm layer of air acts like the gooey melted cheese right in the middle of our sky sandwich. Without this warm middle layer to melt the snow into rain, the recipe for sleet would fail, and we'd just see a regular snowy day. But our raindrop isn't at the ground yet. Just before it hits the earth, it has to pass through one final bottom layer of air, and this layer is freezing cold again. When the liquid raindrop hits this cold air, it refreezes. To refreeze means it melts and then freezes a second time, turning from a liquid drop back into a solid piece of ice. This quick freeze locks the water into clear little spheres, the solid ice pellets that eventually hit your umbrella. Because it is a solid piece of ice and not squishy liquid water, it bounces when it lands. That's exactly what makes that loud tink-tink sound on cars and windows. Sleet requires this very specific roller coaster through the sky, freezing, then melting, and then refreezing near the ground. Falling ice comes in a few different forms, and they each have their own personality. Sleet is frequently confused with hail, but they are very different. Hail forms inside windy summer thunderstorms that toss ice up and down until it grows into heavy white stones. Sleet is also different from freezing rain. Freezing rain stays completely liquid while falling and only turns to ice the moment it touches cold surfaces on the ground. Meteorologists officially call sleet ice pellets in their weather forecasts. When a lot of them fall, they act like tiny marbles that make roads and sidewalks very slippery. Sleet's true identity is specifically the refrozen, bouncy ice ball, which sets it apart from thunderstorm hail or sneaky freezing rain. Now it's your turn. Let's see if you can remember the recipe for sleet. Shout your answers right at the screen. Question 1. High up in the top freezing layer of the clouds, what does sleet start as? It starts as snow. Question 2. After it melts in the warm middle layer, what happens to the rain when it hits the cold bottom layer? It refreezes. You totally nailed it. Smash that subscribe button to join the lab crew and keep exploring how our world works. Let's lock it in. Sleet starts as snow, melts into rain in a warm layer, and then refreezes into bouncy ice pellets before it hits the ground. The next time you hear ice ticking against your window, tell a parent about the cold, warm, cold sky sandwich that created it. Now you know how sleet falls, but what about words that read the same way forward and backward? Those are called palindromes. Tap right here to find out how they work.